Hello and welcome to another episode of Tracy Takes On, the show that talks about all things politics. Tonight I have with me as my guest Talisha and Charles. Wave hello to the camera, guys.
Hi.
Hi. So we're here to talk about a couple of topics this evening. And the first topic I want to start off with is, of course, the attacks in Atlanta, or in the not in Atlanta, but in the state of Georgia, that happened. The what I'm not sure why they're not calling it a hate crime, because it clearly is. Clearly the person that committed these crimes has some type of hate towards Asians, but for some reason the police department and the prosecutors don't seem to want to pursue that. So what are you guys' thoughts about that?
Well, I personally think it was a hate crime. One, I mean, granted, there is that stereotype and there is some type of anecdotal evidence that a lot of the Asian spas are known to have trafficking and prostitution. So it could be that, that's where he was frequenting and he had that sexual proclivity towards, purchasing his, business. But the fact that he drove
Happy ending.
right, he drove all across the city to only go to Asian places makes it seem like he was literally targeting Asians. So, I mean, I guess 50 of one, half a dozen of another, but either way, the the majority race that was murdered were Asian people.
Yeah, what do you say, Charles? Well, Charles is gone again, so we'll just continue. You know what made me just look side eye at the police department was the troubling statement by, I don't know if he's the sheriff or the spokesman or the who put him up there. He I'm like he literally said he had a bad day. You know what I do when I have a bad day? I eat a cookie. I have some ice cream. I may go out for a walk. I don't just go around killing people. That's not the way you solve having a bad day.
Well, as we know, especially in the eyes of these white police officers who carry that implicit bias, they can see themselves in that of a white suspect as opposed to seeing any kind of relatable attribute to a suspect of a different color. So he can have that, benevolent, approach towards someone who just murdered a whole bunch of people because he sees the humanity in this white person. But let it have been a black suspect, they would have been anything but a child of God.
Oh well, he would have been shot before he went to drive to another place.
Never would have made it.
He never would have made it to the second place. He would have gotten shot at the first one.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Charles, what do you think about the whole situation that's going on in Georgia?
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, they just don't want to admit that domestic terrorism is for real. So, but it doesn't bother me that they call it a hate crime or don't call it a hate crime. We know what it is. This guy's gonna die. Okay, he's not gonna. He's he's gonna be executed. So it doesn't matter if you whatever you call it, he's still gonna die. It, you can talk all day about why you did this, but you know the difference between right and wrong.
Absolutely.
And it was wrong to kill 8 people like that. So, but the way they handled it don't surprise me. But I mean, the police officer that said that he had a bad day, well, he's not the spokesman for that police department anymore. So, but
Should he even be a
he
police
just
officer?
said what he just said what others be thinking too, they that they just don't want to admit that they have or we have a white domestic terrorist problem here in America. So
And an unfettered access to guns. He was literally able to purchase that assault rifle the same day. What happened to the at least 72-hour background check?
I
I
thought it was
guess
7 days. Not that I've ever tried to purchase a firearm, but I always thought it was 7 days.
And
well,
thus lies the problem with states' rights.
they don't have, yeah, they don't have a federal guideline. Each state does whatever they want to do. And I mean, who did he buy the gun from? Did he buy it from a private person, or was it from a gun store, or, you
Now,
know,
I don't know. I don't know if that was detailed. I'm pretty sure it was a gun store, but you're right, Charles. Private sellers don't have the same burden, and neither do gun shows. They have an even lesser burden.
and then that policeman, he he also had anti-Asian comments on his
Facebook.
social media.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he sold T-shirts. He had T-shirts that said something like Chinese flu or some racist garbage like that.
China, the way Trump says it, spelled CHY, China, the way Trump says it, China virus. Very ignorant, very disrespectful.
so I mean, it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't surprise me. And are they going to do anything? I don't know. But this guy who shot all these people, he going to be dead here as soon as his run out of his appeal, out of the appeal process. Okay, he's not doing life. He'll get thrown under the bus so they can preserve the system. So
True.
he's nobody.
See, I think opposite. I think they're going to give him life in prison,
He could take a plea
or he could
to
take a
save the
plea.
state money.
Not he's not. I don't believe that. They got to throw him out, just like Dylan Roof when he killed all those people at that church in South Carolina. You know, he 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 got the death penalty.
Did he? I thought he ended up
I
getting
thought he
life.
got life in prison. That's what I thought. I don't
No,
think he got the
he
like death penalty.
got the death penalty.
He might have. Maybe we're just thinking of the congregation because I know with our forgive the sinner mentality that they were saying God give him life, don't kill him.
Yeah,
So
because I
maybe
remember
that's what
the
it was.
congregation came out and said they did not want him to get the death penalty.
Well, I tell you, that's black people's downfall. You know, they all we do, our legacy is we march, we protest, and we forgive. You know,
Exactly.
white people don't forgive. Okay,
Or forget.
you know, and that's how we're gonna be known for forgiving. All right.
Well, that's one of the biggest, without going too far off the hinges, but that's the biggest way white supremacy has gotten over on us, using that Bible as a catalyst to do a lot of the nasty things that they do to us. And one of the things we've retained is that forgiveness mentality from the teachings of the Bible. But I do also remember that, what is it? What is it, Tracy? Help me out with the not spare the rod, spoil the child.
Not spare the
Eye
rod.
for an eye.
That's the Old Testament though. But yes, it's in there.
It's
in
so I
there.
think we need to do a little bit more of that. A little
Yeah,
bit of
it's
eye for an
in
eye.
The Bible is like the Constitution, that people only adhere to the parts that appeal to
to them. Yep.
Just like religion is like the government. You know, they tell you who to like, who to hate, who to go to war with, you know, who to love. You know, it's
Exactly.
you know, people need to wake up and start thinking for themselves. Don't stop being taught and learn. Okay, take
Yep.
time to learn.
And for
Exactly.
clarification,
Don't let people.
oh, sorry, Charles,
you.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But Dylan Roof is serving life in prison. He pleaded,
Well,
and
he
they
did
gave him.
get life. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought he got the death penalty.
I don't know, Tracy. I just read he was sentenced to death in 2017.
He was, but Roof was sentenced to 9 consecutive sentences of life without parole after formally pleading guilty. That's what it says on Wikipedia.
I don't know. It says Roof became the first person to be ordered executed for a federal hate crime.
But he's still living, so you know he's.
Well, you get like 10 years of appeal.
Did they say it was a hate crime?
It was a hate crime. He was
It
the
was
first
a hate crime. They did do this a hate
to
crime.
Okay,
execution.
I didn't know South Carolina had a hate crime because these states, they were kind of slow. Some of them were slow on adopting the hate crime laws. So I mean,
Absolutely.
the hate crime doesn't have a death penalty. It's just
Well, he
I
was
don't think
sentenced
that.
to execution under the hate crime law in South Carolina.
So
That's what it says.
Now, where are
so
you
how does
reading
he?
it?
This is NBC News, and this is an article dated January 29th, 2020. Ruth
Oh,
became the
okay.
first person to be ordered executed for a federal hate crime when he was sentenced to death. So
So how
I
does
guess you're
they
both right.
serving life then?
He's not.
I thought.
I think he was sentenced to death. You're right.
Okay.
I thought he got 9 consecutive life sentences without parole.
Well, 9 consecutive life sentences might as well be death.
It might as well. You're not getting out.
Die and come back, he gonna still have to go back to prison.
But I still remember the pastor of that church and the family saying, no, we don't want the death penalty. And there is something to be said about forgiveness. I mean, you can't just let that hold on to you forever. And that, yes, people need to punitively pay for what they did. Absolutely, positively believe that. But from the way that
Well, you know what? If the other side ain't doing it, so why should you expect me to do it?
yeah, that's a good point.
Why should you expect me to forgive when they're not forgiven?
Exactly. I
Well,
agree.
see, yeah, I'm gonna take a different approach because I can see where the
You can
family.
say, yeah, I forgive, but I ain't gonna forget. He still has to. He still be accountable for
Oh yeah,
what he's done.
absolutely.
But just what are you saying? You letting them off the hook? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying
when you say
forgiveness.
no, I'm asking when people say they want to forgive, what does that mean? We're letting you off the hook?
Yeah. In the case of Dylan Roof and even some of the people who were victims, the families who were victims in Atlanta, they were like, what is it gonna do? They don't want him to just get away with it, but they don't necessarily want him to face the death penalty either. I mean, the death penalty is something, just to be honest with everybody, it's something I'm totally against because I feel like you're wasting all this money. They get all these automatic appeals, but that's me, and I understand people have different views of the death penalty than I do. I happen to be against it. Some people are for it, but I can see where forgiveness would help someone to get over that. But it's not to say, oh, you just do whatever. No, that's not forgiveness because you have to give account of what you're doing. Forgiveness doesn't have anything to do with that.
Okay.
So in my opinion, I'm just saying, in my opinion, when I forgive somebody, that doesn't mean they didn't do it and I don't want them to pay for it. It just means I'm not going to keep holding it in, making myself sad, being depressed, and holding it. I'm not going to keep holding it because if I hold it, that's going to do damage to me. And they've already did what they're going to do. To me, that's where I see that church saying, forgive them, let them serve his life in prison, etc. But
you still don't forget,
Oh, you never forget. Never.
So you will always judge this person. You just move on. That's all I say. You move on. You move on with your life and try to do the best you can do. That's it. I'm not saying I forgive you or it's not helping me, just moving on with my life, and not letting it eat me up, going on with my life. I don't have to forgive you to do that. All I need to do is stay away from you. That wasn't bad. Hell ain't bad.
It is not.
Where you go when you die.
It's a place. It is a place.
It's a place.
I'm co-signing with Charles.
Now you go, Coach. But what else I wanted to talk about, in lieu of that, there was a hearing in Congress, the first time in 30 years that Congress had ever held a hearing on violence in the against Asian community. And one, I don't know what to call this foul piece of garbage, decided that he was going to use a lynching comparison to talk about. I can't. It's hard for me to even say because I grow angry every time I think about what it is he said. To say, let's get a tree and some rope and hang them. Does he know? He lives in Texas. Does he know they lynched in Texas, or is he just like, I don't care?
I'm not sure. Who was he talking about lynching? Was he talking about lynching the shooter, or
So
was he
he
talking about
said,
lynching?
so he said
You know,
all
because
the
he really didn't say
outlaws.
which one.
Yeah, he
So
said all the outlaws.
he said all the outlaws, but then he
Well,
turned
the
right
guy that
around.
killed them people, the
But then
guy
he
that
turned
killed those people, I would imagine he's an outlaw.
right, but then he turned right around and tried to basically take the heat off of the insurrectionists. He tried to take the narrative and start saying that Black Lives Matter and Antifa were the outlaws. So he literally tried to change the narrative of this anti-Asian hate committee hearing.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, how did you, thank goodness they didn't let him get away with it. But how do you totally change the conversation is about this. So I'm going to talk about, it's about cake, but no, I'm going to talk about ice cream. No, you can't just jump this sentence like that. You have to, when those committee hearings happen, you're there for a reason. And he was like, oh, I'm not issuing an apology. Oh, well, that's great. Now we know you're racist. Thank you. Because
That's not. But is that surprising to you? Did you not expect something like that? You know, did you expect them to say to agree with this? You know, I mean, it's like the racists have came out the closet, okay, and they just saying anything they want, uh, and tried to play it down. You know, like Ron Johnson, he says, "Well, I wasn't worried. You know, when I was up in the Congress, I would have been worried if it had been Black Lives Matter or Antifa, but I wasn't worried about these people. You know, who rushed in there and were kill and injuring the police and." You know, and all I'm thinking was, well, gee, you know, if you weren't worried, then why did you go huddle in your office under your desk? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you just should have just stayed right there in the Senate and roll with your peas. All right, that's the way I feel about it. You know, because you know, they're just saying stupid stuff. You know, and it's scary. You know, but you know what? Today, have y'all heard of the uh, NFAC?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, what I have not.
They're the
So
not effing around coalition.
they they rolling. Okay,
Mm.
these are black people that are
Armed
starting these
militia.
armed militia groups all over the United States, and they are armed. All right, they ain't playing.
legally, I hope.
They don't have any.
Absolutely.
They don't have they haven't attacked anybody or anything. You know, they just said we have the right to protect ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Which they
And
do this as Second Amendment, but you know, it's how the NRA is always quiet when
absolutely.
it comes to black people having guns.
Absolutely. They
Has
didn't say a word when
anybody
They
Philando
even
never
noticed
Castile
that?
was
voted
murdered.
for it. They want, you know, just like in the 60s or the 70s, they wanted gun control.
Yeah.
Then, you know, when the Panthers was arming themselves, but you know, after they got the guns out of their hands, then you know, now they don't want any type of gun control. You
Exactly.
know, a mentally challenged person could go in and buy a gun and it's legal. That's that's
Absolutely.
that's the way it is now. You know, but now they're arming up. Let's see what happens if they start coming out with legislation to try to take the guns out of their hands. I don't see it happening. Like, or at least being able to take the guns out their hands. I just
Well,
don't see that.
two things are going to need to happen to get some sensible gun legislation and to also stop these cops and stuff from killing us for no reason at all. One is everybody's going to have to take up arms. Every Black person, every lawful uh, abiding citizen needs to take up arms and make sure they have a concealed carry permit. Once they do that, they're going to start locking these laws down like nobody's business. Number two, every Black person needs insurance, life insurance. When the insurance companies get sick of paying out all these millions and millions and millions of dollars for policies because they're killing Black people like it's a heyday, they will start lobbying Congress to change these laws and to get these cops under control. That is the only thing that's going to save us, not marching in the streets, not protesting, because that is met with bullets, it's met with tear gas, it's met with stricter laws against protesting. So we're going to have to be strategic. And once we start doing that, guarantee you these laws are going to change.
Can you, Charles, give me that group? It's called the NF. What?
AC.
Do
NFAC.
they have a website?
If you just do a search for
Probably.
NFAC, you'll find them.
Okay.
You will not miss them.
Because I would like to know what, I mean, I've always had I'm terrified of guns. I've always, I agree with what you're saying, but I've always been terrified of guns. Always. I don't know if that's
I'm
how it is,
terrified of
right?
stupid people with guns. Okay, the gun don't kill you. It's a stupid person with the gun that kills you.
I know what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying, but man, every time I see one, I'm just like, oh.
And to get past that fear, you need to go to the rifle range and get you some hours of experience. After you learn about a gun and you handle a gun and you learn how to hit your targets, you will find you're less scared of that gun than you are of dumb people.
Well, I can understand. You don't want to be around people with guns. It's no
I
need.
don't. I'm like,
I understand that. I don't want to be around a person with a gun either. If something's wrong with you if you think you need to have a gun around me.
especially when you go to the store. Like, what? You need a gun to go to Walmart? Really? It's really that deep.
They might stop that blue light special before time. You have to shoot somebody.
I mean, they already don't have security in the store. And here I come. I'm going to carry a gun. For what? I'm just going to the store. I don't know. I mean, I'm all for the Second Amendment, but there's got to be some type of background check or something, just bare minimum. But I'll have to, and I want to learn more about that group too, because that would just be. Give me their initials one more time.
NFAC.
NIFC.
NF.
NF.
Nancy Foxtrot Alpha Charlie.
Thank you, because I'm like, wait a minute, I want to get that because I'm like, wait a minute, but I do want to talk about something else, and that's the I don't want to call it the anti-Black people vote bill that are going around, but that's what it seems like it's because of. We have 43 states that are looking to restrict voting laws. Indiana, of course, is right there near the top, but Georgia and Texas are the major ones that for some reason have decided that they'll cut their own nose off to spite their face just to make sure that they win. I wasn't surprised, but when they were arguing this with the courts, the one guy literally came out and said, well, if we get more people to vote, that means they're not going to vote for us or something to that effect. And I'm like, you said that out loud?
He's right, but he's right. They're not going to vote for them. So, so that's the plan to restrict voting. Well, they pretty sure they're going to lose the elections. It don't, people just got to get out there and vote. That's all there is to it. Just get out there and vote. Whatever restrictions there are, you can overcome the restrictions if you do
But
what you need to do.
but
Don't wait for the last minute to try to do something. Go get out there and do what you're supposed to do, and then they won't have any recourse to negate your vote.
Well, it's not that easy.
yeah, it's not that
One,
easy.
one, they're closing down the local DMVs, and some people are out in rural areas and they don't have transportation to get to the further DMV across town. Two, what used to normally pass as a proper voter ID law, they're now saying that, or voter ID, they're now saying that those aren't lawful voter IDs and they need to go and get a driver's license or a state ID, whereas their housing ID worked before, their student IDs worked before. They are outlawing everything that was working before, and they're making it harder. They're also closing down polling locations and not telling people where the new polling location is. Some of these folks are older. They don't have access to the technology to tell them what their local precinct is after these trifling folks have closed it down. So it's not just a matter of poor planning on the part of the voter. It is literal suppression on the part of these lawmakers, because they know that their policies are not getting votes, and the only way they can get elected is by stealing
Yeah,
the elections.
and I think the Georgia law was just the most cruel because they would penalize people for giving people water and food while they're in line. Are they out of their minds? Food and water? You're gonna put me in jail.
If that's it, if that will be, I'm sure that will be challenged in court.
They're trying
So
to challenge it now.
okay,
But
so we
remember,
have to wait
we
and
have a
see.
Supreme Court that's heavy conservative.
Who's also said there was no need for the Voting Rights Act because times have changed and
Yep,
we
times
no
have
longer
changed.
have racism.
Yep. So that's why I'm like, nope, it's not gonna do any good. I think that's what's gonna happen is we're gonna take a step backwards. It's going to take efforts like, okay, everybody get in their car and start taking people out to the places to vote or to get their state IDs. Um,
Yeah, but you have time now. You have time. The election won't be until next year in November.
but
So
I think our point is why pass these laws? It seems, well,
don't
it
sit
is
there.
right.
Well, I understand that. You know why they're passing the law. So I'm saying, you still have to quit making excuses and do something about it. Whatever you're gonna do, you still have to do something about it. You can't sit there and making excuses, and because then yeah, they will accomplish what their agenda is.
Well, that's
So
what organizations like the Male Voter Project and Stacey Abram and those folks, that's what they're doing now. They're formulating plans to overcome these issues, as well as they also have lawyers challenging these ridiculous laws.
okay,
However, there's only so many people, like unless we all start descending into these states, like me coming from DC down to Georgia to try to pull souls to the poll, there's not going to be a lot of, there's more disenfranchised than the enfranchised, and it's going to be hard. So the thing is, you have to get this out here, because I guarantee you your average voter doesn't know what these fools are doing. And certain
Nope.
people don't have access to this information, so they don't know to prepare for it. They know that they are supposed to vote on this day, and they go to their local precinct, and then they're told X, Y, and Z. You're blown out the water. So it's incumbent upon us to get the word out, let folks know what these people are doing, and also try to support organizations that are trying to re-enfranchise these voters.
Exactly. And it's I I'm glad that that man said that quote because it just makes me realize who conservatives really are. I remember when I was a child, I had it wasn't a whole lot, but I had some respect for the Republican Party because you saw that they were fiscally conservative, although I realized they're not. But I thought, okay, this person, I don't agree with them, but okay, they seem like a decent person. Now it's just like, oh, y'all a bunch of y'all some Y'all
So when
something
was
else.
that? How long ago was that you
Right.
felt
I've
that way?
never had a good feeling about
I was,
Republicans
I'm
or
saying I was a
conservatives.
child. I was like 8, 9, 10, and I thought, because I voted in local elections for Republicans. I voted for the Republican mayor. I
That's
voted for
right.
the Republican
And
senator.
then when the Republicans and Democrats switched, then that's when you lost you got disenfranchised with the Republican Party,
Well,
the
That
no,
racist.
was back in the 60s. That was before
Yeah.
Tracy's
no,
time.
I ain't that old. I'm not that old. I'll say this: when I voted for those Republicans, I wasn't voting for them because they were Republicans. I was voting for them because I thought, oh, well, they're making sense on X, Y, and Z. Because I'm always an issues voter. I'm not a vote for this person because they have a D behind their name or I behind their name. I'm always voting for the issue. Now you couldn't pay me to vote. You couldn't pay me $10 million. I'd be like, bring 25 because there's no way I would vote for a Republican. Not the way that the Republican Party is now. They are overtly racist, overtly sexist, aversely homophobic. It's just they stand against everything that a common sense person would be for. Just everything. And I don't know if that's Trump's fault or were they like that the whole time and he just kind of brought it up to the level that we could see it.
He brought him out of the closet. That's what he did.
Exactly.
It's been there. He just
Exactly.
brought it out of the closet.
They talked in dog whistles before. Now they're
the police,
bullhorning.
you've seen how over the years how stronger that the police force is getting. That's what they need because that's your enforcement arm to employ all the laws and stuff you want to put out there. And the, now, like I say, now pretty much the police are untouchable.
Absolutely.
You can't even do anything to them pretty much. So they're catching up with them a little bit better now, but uh
Not much.
the
Yeah, not
Republicans, they're just not putting out stuff that that are in the really in the it's not in the interest of Black people, but you got a lot of marginalized white people too that they don't care about either. Okay.
Absolutely.
yeah, they don't care about poor white people, period.
Yeah.
It's like, and yet convince a poor white person to not vote them in. Look at Mitch McConnell. He has the worst approval rating for his state, and he has yet to lose.
Exactly.
He hasn't lost. He's been in Senate since I was like, what, 18 or 19? He's been in there a while.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
19 a
I
long,
think about
long,
30
long time
years
ago.
I
Not that
believe.
long, but a long time ago. But it just amazes me, like people like that will vote against their own best interest. So you're right. I hope that we can start supporting organizations that are at least trying to do something to combat this because I don't think it's going to be successful going through the courts. It's too unless Biden packs the court with Democratic um with progressive
Justices.
yes justices, which he won't do. He'll pick more moderate justices. He's not going to
And he
pick.
already said he was against packing the court.
Oh, so he's not going to do it.
He's already disarmed us in so many ways.
Oh boy, now he's just really not wanting to win.
Mm-mm.
That would have been a measure, but now that I know that's off the table, I definitely can say the courts aren't going to view in the rule in the favor of the people who are protesting against this. Because again, you said it best. They said racism doesn't exist.
Right.
Tell that to Breonna Taylor. Tell that to George Floyd, please, because what they say doesn't make sense. But speaking of the Supreme Court, we had a major bomb drop this weekend, and I don't know if you guys were paying attention. I certainly was. There was a suggestion that the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh may not be what we thought it was. And I want to give Talisha your thoughts first because you're the one that brought this to my attention.
Well, FBI supposedly did not do a thorough vetting, and it's funny because we all knew that, but apparently it's news now that looks like they may have phoned in the investigation. Um, so now they're Sheldon Whitehouse, a senator from, I can't remember where Sheldon Whitehouse is from, but one of the Democratic senators, he's saying they need to look at how the FBI did their investigation and see if Brett Kavanaugh was legitimately put on the Supreme Court. I'm not gonna hold my breath, you guys, because we have too many fake institutionalists there that feel like once you're there and leave it alone. So I don't feel like this will be challenged, and I don't think it'll go anywhere. We'll get another report that reinforces everything we already knew, and then it'll just be forgotten.
Well, who was there? Who was a justice then? Was Barr was there, wasn't he? Wasn't Barr
Barr
at the
was
justice?
the AG, yes, when
And
Kavanaugh.
yeah, but Barr is the one who's controlling this stuff. They tell the FBI who to investigate, or they can quash an investigation. Because they were upset about the Mueller investigations.
Yes.
Was Sessions recusing himself? Trump was, really mad because he recused himself. So that doesn't surprise me. Now you have somebody in there that is going to go after all this. Then yeah, I expected this to come out. It probably a whole lot of other stuff that Barr did. And even that, not just the vetting, it was like the whole, even Congress, they quashed the investigation during the hearings, that they wouldn't let the Democrats call what witnesses they wanted brought in, or what evidence they felt they wanted being brought in. So like it doesn't it doesn't surprise me. And all this stuff is coming out now. They're talking about sedition. That's the word of the day today. That they're going to charge. They want to charge these Capitol rioters, and I think they're probably so slow because they're trying to build a conspiracy case, and that's not easy to build a conspiracy. It's easier to grab the people who did something than to try to get the person who you think might have orchestrated it but didn't participate in it. You got to prove it's not what you know. Sometimes I just think that Trump is going to be like Al Capone. All the murders and stuff they did, and the best they could get him on was tax fraud.
Yeah.
He did. I think he went to prison for life.
He's not going to jail for tax fraud. He will not serve not one day. Trump will not serve 1 day in prison. 1 day he will not serve.
True.
I would hope so. I hope so. I want to throw a Trump going to jail party, but I'm not going to get to throw it. I'm not going to get to pay special invitation.
He got a lot of issues going on right now, and more to come. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that.
He's not going to jail though.
He's not going to jail.
He'll pay a fine. He'll be.
He won't run for president in 2024. I guarantee you that. I bet that'll be part of the plea deal, that he won't run for office.
He may pay a fine. They may strip him of his presidential honors, which I will take because I refuse to call that thing president of the United States. But he'll never see the inside of a jail cell.
He will never see the inside of a jail. You know how wrong I want to be? I want to be so wrong. I would love nothing more than an orange jumpsuit to match his orange face. I would love it, but it's not going to happen because the criteria to put, and yes, I know you don't want to call him president, but unfortunately, that's the title he held. What jury is going to say, you know what? Okay, unless you got, because remember, not only if he gets tried before, if he gets convicted, he's going to appeal it.
Well,
He's
yeah,
not going to.
I'm sure he is going to
So
appeal.
that's more years
And,
added. And as far as him running, oh, his ego is not going to let him not run.
well, you know, he's the what do you call it? The
Idiot.
no name suspect or I forgot it, but he's
Un,
in
un,
the same
unindicted
indictment.
co-conspirator.
Yeah,
I thought they
with
called him agent number one or
no,
something like that.
Yes,
yeah,
that's what they referred to him as.
with Cohen.
Yeah, unindicted co-conspirator.
Yeah,
And yes,
so
the
that and
Republican.
the only
Yeah.
reason he was indicted because he was the president.
Right.
Okay, now he ain't the president. This indictment still stands. All right, now we can indict you.
Yeah, but it
So
won't.
He
he's
can
got
get in.
problems with that. He got problem with taxes. He got problem with his foundation. He got then the sexual problems. He got problems with Georgia. He got problems. I mean, they're investigating him for the Capitol riot. So, you know, God, I would just hate to think how much his law fees are. His,
He doesn't
Well,
pay
guess
his
what? So it
attorney
doesn't matter.
because Matt Gates
let's
said that he
put
would
it
keep
this
it.
way.
Matt
He
Gates
doesn't
said
have the Department of Justice anymore.
that's true, but Matt Gates said he would quit his job as a congressman and defend them for free. Didn't he say something like that?
He did.
Well, that would be great. You know, I let him let Giuliani defend them too. You know, because these are two stupid people. All right, so
True.
I would be happy for him to go defend
I
Trump.
don't. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't even think these cases are going to see. I don't think we're going to see a court trial. I don't think they're going to see a court trial. I don't think we're going to see no prison time. I don't think we're going to see a guilty. I don't know. I just think he's going to get away with it, and I'll be frustrated, and that'll be it.
I think he will have charges leveled against him. I don't think he'll ever see a day in jail. He'll take a plea deal. It'll be a slap on the wrist. It'll be like time served or, like some, what is it when your house arrest,
Oh yeah.
and he'll
You mean
pay
like
a
an ankle
fine and that's
bracelet?
it.
You mean like an ankle
I'm
bracelet?
making this.
Absolutely. He
This
is a
prediction.
wealthy white man in America. He will never see
Yep.
the
Now if he
inside
were
of a prison cell.
now if he were black,
I'm
then I'd be
saying
like,
this
oh, he's going to
prediction. He
jail.
will not run for president in 2024.
Oh, I'm disagreeing with that. He's running. His
Okay.
ego.
All right.
He has an ego that's the size of this planet. He will not just sit back and just let all that
He ain't
money
gonna be
go.
able to. He's not gonna be able to run for president. He's gonna be too busy trying to keep his behind out of jail.
But that didn't stop him the first time, and it's not gonna stop him the second.
He didn't have no charges like he got against him now.
He had Trump University. He
That
had
was just a lawsuit. That was a lawsuit. Okay, we talking about criminal charges.
but what he's not facing, he's not going to jail. And yes, I think he's running for president. There's no doubt about it. I think he would easily win the nomination. Look how the Republican Party falls at whatever he says. They're just like, okay, whatever you do, we'll vote for you. You're our Messiah. We bow down to you. Did you not see that golden calf that they had of him at CPAC? Oh my goodness, he's running again. Period.
I've seen those idiots, but I'm saying he's not gonna run again. He's not gonna be able to run again.
I think he may be able to run because they didn't do what they were supposed to do during this impeachment to stop
They
him,
sure didn't.
unless it's a part of some plea deal.
That was stupid to impeach him in the first place. You know, they should have.
No,
You
they
had to
needed
impeach him.
That should have been in criminal court. That should not have been an impeachment. You know you weren't going to get a conviction. You know
weren't going to get a conviction.
They weren't going to turn on him.
No, of course not. And even after they were scared for their life, like matter of fact, they should have did it essentially on the 7th. The insurrection was on the 6th. If they did it on the 7th, I guarantee you there would have been more Republicans because they would have remembered that fear from the day before. because a lot of them, I guess they had 2 weeks to get to look at poll results and then change their minds. But it needed to happen for the simple fact is this he basically caused people from this country to turn against their own country. And he was the catalyst. If the Democrats didn't do that, I guarantee you, we think they might not make it in 22 now because all the backsliding they're doing, they definitely wouldn't have made
They
it in
sure
22
wouldn't have had
and
a
wouldn't have
chance
made it in
to
24
run for office. No chance in the world.
because
None.
we would not have let them. We told them they better hold him accountable.
It should have been in criminal court.
We're
and
not
then-
arguing with what you're saying, but what we're saying
Okay,
is they
that's where
had
it
to
should-
bring the
that's where it
charges
should have been.
because if they didn't, they would have people like me answer like, why didn't y'all make him somewhat accountable? We knew
Exactly.
what they were going to do. The Republicans, several reports like, oh, Mitch McConnell, he
And
wants to get.
and then what kind of trial did they put on? They didn't even put on the trial. All they did was have the prosecution testify. The prosecution doesn't testify. They're supposed to bring witnesses in.
But the Republicans blocked that though. In some cases.
Actually, word on the street is Joe Biden blocked it.
What?
Then-
Hold on.
then,
Hold
you
on.
know,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute,
so
Charles.
then
Hold on.
that
Hold on, Charles. Hold on, Charles. Because
Word on the street is they were
Say that
supposed to.
again?
Word on the street is they were supposed to call witnesses that weekend, the weekend that they rested their case. And
Yeah.
they had all made a vote, and a lot of Republicans have voted, yes, bring some witnesses. Joe Biden called down and said, no, there will be no witnesses. You need to end this now. And they ended it.
What?
If
Oh,
you
wait.
Go
But
back and look.
So then they really didn't have a trial. You know, that'd be like going into court and the prosecution charges you with a crime, and the prosecution is the one on the stand testifying against you. You know, that doesn't even make any
because
sense.
I kept wondering, well, why don't they bring the cops, like the relatives of the cop that got killed? Or why don't they bring, I kept wondering, and I'm like, why aren't they calling any witnesses? Because the way that the lady from the Virgin Islands, I can't think of what her name is.
I know you're talking
The
about.
way she was saying it, she was like, oh, we tried. And I'm sitting there like, those Republicans, they know they're wrong. But now you just said that, I'm like, what?
He wanted it over. He thought it was taken away from his cabinet assignments, and he wanted to just get with the business of the new Biden administration. And he felt that that was diverting attention from his policy and his plan.
So let him walk and then beat him in 2024.
Exactly.
Like, dummy, you should have went for, and the Republicans, you know, they could have easily solved this problem. If it's reports out there saying that some of those Republicans thought that Trump was a real problem. Okay, this is your shot.
Right.
Go ahead.
But they're so scared of the base. That base is not playing. That base loves him. That base will die for him, as you can see. So they're not trying to piss off their base. That's how Mitch McConnell went from this is Trump, Trump did it, to not guilty, Trump didn't do it, to he needs to be held responsible because he did it. And then that base kept getting at him. So now if he runs again, I'll support him. That base has a stranglehold on the Republican Party, and Trump has a stranglehold on the base.
Well, the Democrat base needs something like that because, boy, because I'm like, wait a minute. If you want to get rid of something, see, Tracy says, forget the base. Y'all go ahead and vote for your own third party. You never win. That's cool. Bye. See you. Because we don't want to be out here beating people with fire extinguishers and busting in windows and no. But okay, see you later. Okay, it was cool when we had y'all, but y'all got to go. And Trump was like, oh, I would never.
They don't care. You know, they don't care.
No, they don't.
And then the police, what happened to them, I don't have no sympathy for you, because I know what would have happened if Black Lives Matter had been there. If you want to treat white people different, then you got what you deserve. You got to ask, excuse me, you got to behind kick him, okay? Because you got what you deserve.
And they definitely didn't think it was going to be a threat, even though everybody and their mama knew that these folks were planning on descending on the Capitol.
They knew it was a threat. They just chose to ignore it because they were in on it.
Well, it wasn't even so
Right,
much that.
because
It's
they were
because they
young
saw
people.
white
That's why.
people as not a threat. They're like, oh, it's just the good old boys. They're just gonna come and they're gonna fuss and they're gonna rape, but they're not gonna bother us. They're not gonna attack us. They were shocked that these folks was kicking in their heads and trying to take their heads off. They were shocked because that could be my cousin. That could be my brother. That could be my uncle. Shoot, that could be me. So they knew it was gonna come, but they didn't feel threatened.
So,
Yeah.
like I say, I don't have no sympathy for you, because if there had been Black Lives Matter, you would have felt like you were going to be threatened,
Man,
and
we
you
wouldn't
would
have
have
got
had
past the steps.
We wouldn't have even got to the steps. We wouldn't have even got to the point of marching towards the Capitol building.
Nope.
We would have got stopped right as soon as we got on the bus. And the bus went for that. We wouldn't have even gotten the bus in drive. The bus would have been stopped right there, and you'd had a bunch of people dead, and people would have been saying, that's just what they get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know what would have happened. But it just, like I said, they have these reporters that are saying the Republican Party's tired of Trump. Get rid of them. I don't care. See, to me, I don't care about the base. I don't care about Trump's base because I'll never talk. I mean, I'll never talk to these people. I'm not going to have conversations with these people. Most of them are racist, in my opinion, because if you're not racist, you certainly support a racist.
Exactly. You're racist adjacent.
You'll drink the
Most
Kool-Aid.
people don't even know they racist. They think you have to say hateful stuff to be a racist.
Exactly.
You don't have to say
Nope,
hateful
you sure don't.
to be racist. You just by your actions, by what you support and what you
Exactly.
don't support, makes you a racist. And it's like unconscious bias,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
they don't even think about it.
Nope.
No,
And then they'll be the first to tell you they ain't racist. You could probably got a bunch. Well, I'm sure you have a bunch of racist Democrats sitting up there.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sitting
And
right
they'll
there
tell
in the
you,
president of the United States
I was
chair.
gonna say we got one in the White House. What are you talking about? We know that.
well, yeah, that probably is true. But I mean, he's trying to do something, to keep the peace. I ain't never seen these many black people getting jobs up in the White House and in positions that were typically, white positions. The
Yeah, but
cabinet,
it's symbolism.
That
It's
is
symbolism.
so, yeah, I
position.
call it tokenism because it's
No,
like he
I'm
said,
just saying,
ooh, let me
the
pick a
cabinet
trans person. Let me pick a black person. Let me pick an Asian person. I'm gonna just go here. There's
Hell,
no.
they even got a
I'm talking
trans
about
person.
Yeah,
talking
that's
about
why I said they even got a trans person. But that person has pretty much his ideology. It's not like you wouldn't got like, I don't know, Anita Turner on your
Exactly.
cabinet. Now that
Exactly.
would be something I'm like, oh, so he is about diversity of thought. And I'll say it again, I'd rather have 10 Nina Turners than 10 Joe Bidens any day of the week, no matter what.
On Sunday.
I don't care. I would rather have 10, let me think
Bernie
of somebody
Sanders.
who's not my race.
Bernie
AOC.
Sanders.
Yeah, I'd rather have 20 Bernie Sanders than 20 Joe Bidens any day of the week. You put Bernie Sanders against Joe Biden, and that's all I got you to pick. Bernie Sanders all the time, every day. Not gonna change. That's just the way it is. But I did want to talk about one more thing. Of course, we talked about the voter suppression in Georgia and other states. And now it's time for our idiot of the week. I think we're all going to have the same person, but I'll let Charles go first and briefly tell us who you picked and why you picked them.
God,
Because I got mine ready to lock.
I want to say Ron Johnson because he's the one.
Didn't you pick him last week?
He's still saying stupid stuff this week too. Else they just carrying it over to this week. Who is stupid? I don't know. Y'all go ahead. Let me think about that for a second.
Well, I always go last, so you got to go before me.
Okay, well, I guess I can go. Let me see if I got an idiot of the week. I am really trying to think. Um, let's see. Who is an idiot of the
There's
week?
so many. I can't believe you guys are not thinking of. We just talked about this person. We just talked about this person.
I don't know. There's so many idiots.
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
Charles. Look, I'm bouncing it back to Charles.
Well, yeah, just really, really.
I'm really trying to think like who's an idiot of the week.
He picked Ron Johnson last week. I'm like, nope, you cannot pick the same person. To see, audience, this is what I had to put up with.
I forgot about idiots of the week. It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who is a good idiot of the week.
there's so many.
There are so many. Um,
I kept saying we just talked
Okay,
about him.
I say Officer Jay Barker is the idiot of the week.
oh, is that the guy?
When
Yes.
you said the shooter had a bad day.
Yes, that's the one I was like, okay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of idiots. Okay, so let's see. If I had to pick an idiot of the week, I could probably steal Tracy's, which was Chip Roy. Love you, Tracy. The jit from Texas. Actually, you keep Chip Roy. I'll do Ted Cruz. I'll do Rafael Cruz. He's always saying something stupid. So Ted Cruz is my idiot of the week because he is now attacking immigration and saying that if we let immigrants in, they're going to eat up all the food and steal your votes. So Ted Cruz is my idiot of the week.
Let me add some. You right about that. And I'm sorry, I didn't think about that too. He said that they were gonna start letting pedophiles vote.
Oh gosh.
And get stimulus checks.
Where did you get that from? Pedophiles.
But that's the fear tactic. If they can keep their rabid base so scared of the other coming across that border, they'll keep voting for Republicans because they're so scared Democrats are going to open the borders and pedophiles are going to come and rape their daughters. And so it works. It works. And if I can throw in a side idiot, Tucker Carlson, because he's always an idiot and he's always coming for Black folks. Black Lives Matter. I'm not so much for Black Lives Matter, the organization, but I'm for Black Lives Matter, the idea, the spirit of putting our Blackness first and protecting Black lives. And so every time that funny face boy comes for Black Lives Matter, I'm coming for him.
Well, you gave me Chip Roy, but actually I was going to pick the governor of Texas.
Oh, Greg Abbott.
Yes, I was going to pick Greg Abbott because Greg Abbott, and I don't want anybody in my audience saying you shouldn't make fun of him because no. He may be disabled, but he is a true bona fide fool foddery idiot. He was the one that literally started this whole the immigrants are coming for your jobs and the immigrants are coming for your stimulus check. And then he had the nerve to say, well, Texas, we'll do our part, but this is Joe Biden's fault. Are you serious, you idiot? Oh my goodness. That's who I was going to pick. I wasn't going to pick Chip Roy because why? He already knows he's racist. But Greg Abbott, oh no, he's definitely an idiot. And I don't want to disrespect our physically challenged community, but y'all know he's an idiot. So that's my choice of the week. So I think you guys both were coming on here to have some discussions. Hopefully we'll have a couple more things to talk about. There has been some breaking news that there was a shooting in Colorado at a store. So I'll be learning a little bit more about that. So hopefully I'll have some news about that on Saturday to get it more investigated. But I do want to say,
was the shooter white?
No, they haven't. It just literally happened minutes
Listen,
ago.
when they don't immediately release the race of the shooter, you can bet.
Yeah, you can probably almost be like, yeah, because they haven't said anything about the shooter. or anything. They just showed the little store outside Colorado, and the police cars landed. So
What
hopefully,
was it at Walmart?
Yep, I believe it was at a Walmart. So I'm hoping no one was killed. Because that's just we just need to do something about our gun laws in this country, because too many people that have guns don't need guns have them, and or don't know how to use them. But I do want to thank everyone for watching this. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and please support us on Patreon. I'll see you all next week, and have a great week. And this show will air on Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Y'all have a good evening.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too. I'll see y'all later.